What are the biggest threats that the Raiders can present to the Cowboys tomorrow? Especially now that we're hearing CeeDee Lamb and Tyron look good.
Yeah, I think if you want to look at the Raiders, to me, I think it starts really with their defense. And, when you look at Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue, and what they could do, I'm trying to think of teams the Cowboys have played this year that have had a really, really good pass rush. I know what Chris Jones did last week, moving up and down the offensive line. But I think when you start talking about these edge rushers, the combination, maybe Tampa, maybe what we saw with the Chargers in week 2. But, yeah, Crosby and Ngakoue, they are going to present some problems. I'm really grateful that you're going to get Tyron Smith back in this game because I think he can neutralize Ngakoue when he plays on that side. They're going to try and rush Lyle Collins in this game. I think they are. I think they're going to try and break him down. And I think the thing that Crosby does the absolute best is, we all know with Rod Marinelli what his premise of how to play defensive line is. It's get up the field as fast as you can.
Yep.
So I could kind of feel like to see the Cowboys in a running game fashion. If you want to maybe hang your hat on something, as fast as those ends get up the field, I could see some trap blocks, some blocks where they turn out and kind of wall those guys off and then run the ball up inside there. But you'll get these, like I say, these rushers will come flat too inside to quick just to try and attack the pocket that way. And I mean, flat, it's like they don't go all the way up the field. They just come kind of inside at a short drop. So I feel like the ball can kind of get on the outside of them as well. But you've got to be able to block these two guys. Crosby can wreck your game. He really can. He's the type of guy that if you don't handle him, he'll spin move you. He's got length. We've seen Dak have some trouble last week, with the ball security and in the pocket. You don't want to get in a game where every time you go back to pass, either 98 or 91 is hanging on your quarterback that day. So they got to find a way to make sure you take care of those guys. And I'll say this, though, they've got a really good middle linebacker in Denzel Perryman. I mean, he's a guy, he makes every single tackle. I mean, that's the thing. And that's going to be on Tyler Biadasz and those inside guys. You've got to find, if you're going to try and run the ball, you've got to find a way to get a hat on number 52.
We didn't get into Biadasz's play as much from Kansas City, but the growing sentiment was that he had been playing better.
Clean sheet. Yeah,
okay.
Clean sheet. He was the only one that didn't allow a pressure in that game. So, yeah.
Okay, and you feel like even before Kansas City, did you feel like he had been showing the
getting
improvement
better.
We all hoped
for? Yeah,
for?
Getting better, and that to the point where it's like, okay, what do you do at center? Do you move Connor Williams and what's Connor McGovern going to do? And we've talked about why they wouldn't put Connor McGovern at center. You talk about technique, and you talk about the things that they go into it, the calls, the football intelligence, all those things that kind of go into that. So, yeah, I think that to me that's where he's played much better since we've been critical of him earlier in the season.
How much easier does his life become with Tyron?
Well, I think for Dak Prescott, it becomes a lot easier. I'm just saying for Dak's sake, because I'm sure that, Dak is never going to say anything bad about Terrence Steele, and they've been getting away with some things at right tackle. And Terrence Steele hasn't been terrible, but they've been getting away with some things. And you have to kind of think if you're Dak, like, okay, I watched the tape. I see what happens to Terrence sometimes. And now you're going to put him on the left side here and let's hope for the best kind of a thing. I think that's where all of a sudden Dak Prescott goes, okay, now I know the width of the pocket is going to be okay on my backside. Because that's what those tackles are responsible for. The width of the pocket, that's the guard and the centers, the center and the guard are responsible for the depth. So he knows he's going to at least have the ability to step to his left with Tyron Smith over there, and he's not going to have Terrence Steele like hitting him in the back, getting compressed back into the pocket.
And on the flip side, and this is for everyone, where do y'all see maybe opportunities for the Cowboys to take advantage? I know they still got CeeDee Lamb listed as questionable, but Corey, you brought it up earlier. It's looking like it's trending in a pretty good direction.
Based on what I've kind of been watching, because I've watched a couple of different Raiders games, they were better though whenever I was watching them.
Right.
They haven't been as good since
last
couple weeks.
Yeah, they've been struggling the last couple of weeks.
I think the Cowboys are so impressive on those crossing routes. Like that's the thing that they do so well. Yeah. But with Detroit and Kansas City saying, "Hey, this is how you stop it," have they gone away from it, or are they sticking to it?
Well, I think the problems will the Raiders walk up and play man coverage, and now this is what you have to think about when you're on a short week is how do you really game plan on a short week because you're not practicing. You're not really working. You're going to pretty much go in there with an idea of like, okay, these are the plays we would like to run. This, your offense is not, I don't think, going to be the whole book. I think it's going to be part of the book. Like you're going to say, okay, this is now the familiarity you have. At least you've played against schemes like with Gus Bradley. You've worked against it. So Kellen Moore has an idea of how he wants to attack. Are the Raiders going to go in here and say, okay, we're just going to abandon what we do, the single high stuff? You could see coverage where they don't play tight. And I think the way the Chiefs and the Broncos beat you was, and especially the Chiefs knew that John Hussey's crew was not going to call defensive holding.
Yeah.
The only call they got was a hands to the face. And I think the Cowboys missed an opportunity myself of playing the same way. I felt like you kind of needed to play the Chiefs receivers that way. So we'll see. The Raiders, if they're going to walk up and play man coverage, now it's going to be about trying to win on the line of scrimmage. And are you going to be able to protect up front? Because that's the thing that Dak has kind of been having a problem with, is I think he's held the ball a little bit too much in some situations, waiting for that thing to break clean.
Does Dak need to just trust? Because Jeff was talking about what Kellen Moore, like he walks up there, he sees this front, and he's like, I'm checking out of this.
Yeah,
Does he need to just trust that he has a good run game?
Yeah, I think Jerry said it pretty, I don't know if it was your show or was with.
This week it was Sean and RJ.
Sean and RJ, yeah. Jerry was talking about, hey, our plan was to try and run the ball 60% of the time in this game. So do you wonder, was it 60% bad looks or 60% your quarterback didn't want to do it? I think there were things, I think the way the Cowboys were trying to run the ball was not the right way. And I was on our show all week saying, listen, you need to misdirect this thing. You need to send them one way and come back. The one time they did it was the reverse, where they got the Chiefs going one way and then they got the ball with Pollard going back 31 yards the other way.
Yep.
It felt like they needed to do more of that.
And that was in the first quarter, right? With 5 minutes to go.
Yeah. I mean, so to me, it was like, why did you not try, especially with an offensive line on the left side that, you had a weak left tackle over there. You just can't run the ball and play football in a phone booth and get shoe to shoe and try and, we're going to hammer this thing in there. No, I think that there needed to be some movement there. And again, maybe that's where they missed the opportunity.